Russia is not just the largest country in the world, it's a place where every conventional definition is challenged. Winters so harsh that boiling water freezes instantly, metro stations as grand as underground palaces, and customs that may seem strange at first, but reveal a surprisingly profound soul. In today's video, we'll uncover one of the most mysterious and controversial topics: Russia, a world of its own right here on Earth. Note: this video is for educational purposes only and does not reflect any political stance. Let's stay open-minded and objective. Russia, a universe of its own. Russia isn't merely the largest country in the world by area. It is the very embodiment of vastness beyond imagination, a land stretching from the heart of Europe to the farthest edges of Asia. Spanning over 17 million square kilometers and across 11 time zones, Russia defies every conventional definition of a nation. While people in St. Petersburg witness the sunrise, it's already deep night in Vladivostok. Few places on Earth can encapsulate such a multiplicity of spatial and temporal realities within a single national map. What's equally striking is the paradox at the heart of its geography. While 70% of Russia's territory lies in Asia, the majority, around 70% of the population, resides in the European part. This creates a unique contradiction: a country with its feet in Asia, head in Europe, embodying both the ancient mystique of the East and the modern ethos of the West. Russia is a multi-layered canvas where majestic nature fuses with profound history and the lingering echoes of ancient empires. From the endless taiga forests to the wild steppes, from the frozen vastness of Siberia to the vibrant metropolises of the West, each region bears its own spirit and identity, yet all together form the entity known as Russia. And honestly, if you ever get lost in Russia, just blame the time zones. It's probably tomorrow where you are. Moscow, where past and future beat as one. If Russia were a living body, Moscow would be its beating heart, a city where history, modernity, and the future collide in spectacular harmony. From the mighty Kremlin to the glass towers of Moscow City, from the historic Red Square to hidden hipster cafes, this is a place where eras coexist. Perhaps the most iconic feature of Moscow is its metro system. Not just public transport, but an underground museum. Stations like Komsomolskaya and Mayakovskaya, adorned with marble, chandeliers, and bronze statues, show how Russians infuse even functional spaces with beauty and meaning. Winters here are harsh, with temperatures dropping below -20 degrees Celsius. But Moscow never sleeps. Christmas markets light up the snow, violinists perform in icy squares, and golden lights warm the stone streets. In Moscow, winter isn't endured. It's transformed into something bold and poetic. Oymyakon, where harshness meets human triumph. Nearly 5,000 kilometers northeast of Moscow lies Oymyakon, known as the Pole of Cold, where temperatures have dropped to -67.7 degrees Celsius, colder than much of Antarctica. Here, winter isn't a season, it's a permanent condition. And yet, life goes on. The native Yakut people have adapted with unique survival skills: herding reindeer, fishing through ice, building thermally efficient homes, and living by rhythms suited to Arctic extremes. Children still go to school wrapped in layers, and adults celebrate, cook, and even eat ice cream outdoors at -30 degrees Celsius, as if to say, we don't just survive, we live on our own terms. Oymyakon isn't a tale of man conquering nature. It's one of coexistence, community, and quiet strength. In a place that is the coldest on Earth, you may also find some of humanity's deepest warmth. So, would you dare eat ice cream outside at -30 degrees Celsius? If yes, welcome to Oymyakon. If not, don't worry. You can still enjoy your dessert under a blanket and leave us a warm comment below. Russian women, a blend of beauty, intelligence, and independent strength. When people think of Russian women, many stop at the surface, Elegant figures, flowing blonde hair, striking eyes full of expression. But that beauty is only skin deep. What truly sets Russian women apart is the refined balance between profound intellect, high educational attainment, and unwavering independence. Russian women are avid learners. The percentage of women with university degrees in Russia ranks among the highest in the world. They don't just read classical literature. They immerse themselves in science, engineering, and politics. In today's society, they confidently step into fields long considered male domains, such as technology, aviation, and nuclear research. And in those spaces, they don't merely survive, they excel. What makes them even more remarkable is their ability to remain deeply connected to tradition. They care for their families, keep the hearth burning, and raise children with gentleness rooted in firm principles. To them, tenderness isn't weakness. It's a form of soft power, born from patience and compassion. In their hearts lives a powerful triad: patriotism, national pride, and a fierce commitment to preserving identity. This harmony between classical grace and modern intellect, between nurturing care and resilient willpower, has made Russian women admired not only in their own country but around the world. They are at once regal and approachable, proud yet profoundly admirable. Tea, a cultural flavor and ritual of hospitality. In Russia, tea is not merely a beverage. It is a ritual of social grace, a cultural symbol, and sometimes a philosophy of life. Russians drink tea not just to quench thirst, but to connect with one another. A cup of hot tea is an invitation, a bridge between people, and the spark for long, heartfelt conversations. At the center of this tradition stands the samovar, a large, ornate metal urn that's become an icon of Russian culture. More than just a vessel for boiling water, the samovar radiates warmth, both literal and emotional. Russians typically brew a strong tea concentrate called Vodka in a small teapot, then dilute it with hot water from the samovar. But the tea is never served alone. It comes with honey, fruit preserves, crispy biscuits, or homemade pastries. The Russian tea ritual is neither as formal as the Japanese tea ceremony, nor as refined as British afternoon tea. It is intimate, familial, and steeped in a spirit of sharing. On long winter evenings, families gather around the table, steam rising from the samovar, soft golden light casting a cozy glow, and warm conversations filling the room. This is not just an everyday image, but a soundtrack to the Russian soul. Magical festivals where nature and culture shine in harmony. If there is a place on earth where time feels suspended, it's during the White Nights of St. Petersburg. From mid-June to early August, this city of czars experiences almost no true nightfall. The sun sets only briefly, casting a soft, bluish twilight before rising again, painting a surreal canvas that blurs the boundary between dream and reality. But White Nights is more than a natural wonder. It is a grand cultural celebration. St. Petersburg, the cultural capital of Russia, bursts into life with open-air concerts, operas, ballets, fireworks over the Neva River, and dazzling light shows. This is when Russians live fully through art, joy, and a sense of freedom. Another cherished spiritual and cultural moment is the Orthodox Christmas, celebrated on January 7th, distinct from the Western Gregorian calendar. This is not just a religious holiday, but a sacred season embedded in Russian consciousness. People fast for 40 days before the holiday, attend midnight prayers, and gather afterward for warm, traditional feasts rich in flavor and memory. In Russia, festivals are not just occasions for merriment, but moments for personal reflection, community bonding, and reconnection with timeless values. Through them, one sees not only a Russia of ancient tradition, but also a resilient, evolving soul that continues to shine, like the soft, endless light of its eternal white nights. Unforgettable travel destinations. Russia as an open-air museum. Traveling in Russia is not merely a visit to a country. It is an immersion into a world that is both grand and steeped in historical depth. Every location is like a polished gem, carved and shaped over centuries by time, culture, and the soulful essence of the Slavic spirit. In St. Petersburg, the city once hailed as Russia's window to Europe, stands the magnificent Hermitage Museum, housed in the former Winter Palace. One of the largest and oldest art museums in the world, the Hermitage holds over 3 million works, spanning from ancient Egyptian relics to the masterpieces of European Renaissance. More than a gallery, the Hermitage is a symbol of imperial grandeur, cultural prestige, and 18th century Russian enlightenment. For those seeking tranquility and an old-world charm, Suzdal is a portal to ancient Russia. With onion-domed churches, UNESCO-protected monasteries, and traditional wooden houses, the town feels like something from a fairy tale. In Suzdal, time slows down, inviting visitors to reflect on the pure, unurbanized Russian identity that endures in its quiet lanes and spiritual air. And then there's Sochi, the jewel of the Black Sea. A resort city where majestic mountains meet crystal blue coastlines, Sochi is both a natural wonder and a symbol of modern Russia's energy. After hosting the 2014 Winter Olympics, Sochi emerged as a showcase of hospitality, combining infrastructure and nature with a laid-back elegance that makes visitors feel instantly at home. In Russia, every journey is more than a route. It is a revelation. These places are not just destinations, but living pages from the story of a vast and diverse nation. Russian cuisine, where taste becomes a journey into the soul. Russian cuisine captivates not only with its rich and hearty flavors, but also because every dish tells a story of a land, a people, or a time-honored tradition. To eat Russian food is to consume a piece of the nation's history and culture. Borscht, the iconic beetroot soup, stands as a symbol of Eastern European cuisine. Its vivid crimson color represents vibrant life and strength. Typically served with sour cream and dark rye bread, it's a simple yet deeply elegant combination. Then there's pelmeni, meat-filled dumplings that have long been considered the saviors of winter, easy to store, quick to prepare, and immensely nourishing. Beef stroganoff reflects a fusion between aristocratic cuisine and Western influences. Tender beef cooked in a creamy mushroom sauce, often served with mashed potatoes or rice, bridges nobility and comfort. Meanwhile, blini, traditional thin pancakes, are served with caviar, honey, or jam, symbolizing celebration and abundance. They are festival food, rich in both taste and meaning. And no Russian celebration is complete without Olivier salad, also known as Russian salad, a beloved dish at every holiday table. It's a harmonious blend of peas, boiled potatoes, pickles, eggs, and cold cuts, all brought together by creamy mayonnaise, representing togetherness and festive joy. Russian cuisine is not extravagant, but it carries a profound sense of honesty, depth, and emotional resonance, much like the Russian people and their homeland, unassuming on the surface, yet endlessly rich and soulful within. Lada, not just a car, but a living symbol of Russian identity. From bustling Moscow boulevards to snow-covered roads in Siberia, the modest but resilient Lada continues to roll, an enduring part of daily life across Russia. Once hailed as the people's car during and after the Soviet era, Lada is not just a vehicle, it is a collective memory, a symbol woven into the very fabric of Russian identity. Originally produced in the 1970s through a Soviet Fiat collaboration, the Lada was built to withstand extreme climates, rough terrains, and limited infrastructure. With its simple design, easy repairability, and affordability, the Lada became a companion of the people, reliable, no frills, and built to last. Lada doesn't come with cutting-edge tech or flashy aesthetics, but it embodies something more powerful: pragmatism, loyalty, and unshakable endurance, traits that also define the Russian character. For many, it was their first car, their parents' car, the car of shared memories and humble beginnings. It is the automotive equivalent of a childhood photograph, worn, imperfect, but deeply treasured. Today, in an age of sleek imported luxury vehicles, Lada remains. To some, buying a Lada isn't about style, It's about authenticity. It's a statement that value doesn't lie in appearances, but in the quiet reliability that endures through time and hardship. Personally, I'm genuinely impressed by a car that can survive a Russian winter and still keep rolling like nothing ever happened. If I ever get the chance, I'd definitely love to drive a Lada, not because it's luxurious, but because it has soul. It's the kind of car that might not wow you at first glance, but it's the one you'll never forget once it's gone. Vodka, liquid soul in a crystal glass. In Russia, vodka is more than just a drink. It's a ritual, a memory, and a powerful human connector. It's present at life's key moments: weddings, farewells, family dinners, friendly reunions, or quiet winter evenings by the fire. The common toast, "Na zdorowie," to your health, is not just a formality, but a reminder that vodka is never consumed meaninglessly. Russians don't drink vodka alone. A glass of vodka only truly comes alive when shared with a story, a memory, or a truth that needs to be spoken. Traditional side dishes, like pickled cucumbers, herring, dark rye bread, or salted pork fat, salo, are more than snacks. They evoke emotion, bringing back memories of family warmth, snowy nights, or hard times when vodka was the comfort that kept people going. Importantly, Russian vodka culture doesn't glorify intoxication. It values sincerity, shared vulnerability, and emotional honesty. Drinking vodka together becomes a quiet act of healing, a way to connect, forgive, and say the unspeakable. To Russians, vodka is liquid soul, a distilled essence of history, identity, and cultural depth. In every drop, you can feel the Siberian frost, the warmth of firewood, and the quiet resilience of a people who always rise from the cold. Russian ballet, where beauty is worshipped as belief. Nowhere else in the world is ballet revered quite like in Russia. For Russians, ballet is not just a performance. It's a declaration of beauty, a way to rise above the harshness of reality and reach emotional and artistic transcendence. In iconic venues like the Bolshoi Theater in Moscow and the Mariinsky in St. Petersburg, ballet is more than entertainment. It's a timeless experience. Masterpieces like Swan Lake, The Nutcracker, and Giselle aren't just dances. They are living legends, told through movement, music, and light. Behind this grace lies extraordinary discipline and sacrifice. Russian ballet dancers begin training in early childhood, enduring years of intense practice, pain, and injury. Their training is not only physical, it's spiritual, sculpting the body into an instrument of pure expression. Russian ballet is a seamless fusion of mathematics and poetry, precision and emotion. It doesn't merely please the eye, it pierces the heart, stirs memories, and awakens emotions we thought long forgotten. Russians admire ballet not for its glamour, but because it reflects a noble ideal, to live in pursuit of beauty and meaning. In a world that's increasingly loud and transactional, Russian ballet remains a sacred space where beauty is preserved like faith, and where artists dedicate their lives to keeping that flame alive. Russia's strange yet deeply human traditions. At first glance, Russian customs might appear cold, peculiar, or difficult to grasp. But these very quirks are gateways into the Russian soul, a world of discipline, introspection, and profound emotional richness. One of the most intriguing rituals is the practice of sitting silently before a journey. Before any long trip, Russians sit quietly for a moment. No talking, no movement. It's not mere superstition, but an act of mental preparation, of respecting the journey ahead. In this stillness lies a philosophy. Every trip is a threshold worth pausing for. Then there's the ice bath tradition, a spiritual and physical ritual of plunging into frozen lakes during winter, sometimes at -20 degrees Celsius. Far from a stunt, this is a powerful symbol of purification and inner strength, a moment of confrontation with fear, where faith and fortitude prevail. Another cultural nuance: Russians don't smile at strangers. For outsiders, this may seem cold, but in Russian culture, a smile is an intimate gesture, not given lightly. If a Russian smiles at you, it means something. They've opened their heart and accepted you as a friend. And once that trust is earned, no one is more warm or generous than a Russian host. They'll welcome you into their home, pour you vodka, serve a feast, and share life stories that never seem to end. Their hospitality isn't flashy. It's real, raw, and profoundly human. In these traditions, stillness, ice, silence, and smile, Russia speaks softly of its values: respect for life, the strength of community, and the courage to be genuine. So, do you have what it takes to sit in silence before a trip, dive into a minus 20 degrees Celsius ice lake, and not smile at strangers for an entire week? If yes, welcome to Russia. And if not, at least drop us a smile in the comments below. The Chukchi people, children of the frozen land. In the far northern reaches of Russia, where snow blankets the land year-round and the sun graces the sky for only a few weeks each winter, there lives a unique indigenous community, the Chukchi people. They are not merely an ethnic minority, but a living testament to humanity's ability to harmonize with harsh nature without losing cultural identity. The Chukchi sustain themselves primarily through reindeer herding and fishing. Reindeer are not just a means of transport. They are a source of food, clothing, and above all, sacred companions. The bond between the Chukchi and reindeer is not one of exploitation, but of deep symbiosis, a relationship of respect in which animals are treated as partners in survival. They conduct fire rituals, ancient ceremonies in which they invoke protection from natural spirits, reflecting polytheistic beliefs and profound environmental reverence. Their dances, drums, and ancient songs echo across the icy tundra, passed down orally for generations, each performance a living fragment of their mythic world. Chukchi clothing is not merely practical. It is a form of cultural language, colorful, hand-stitched, adorned with symbolic motifs that reflect ancestry and spirituality. Every tunic, every hat is a cultural map, bearing stories of life, natural cycles, and the folklore of the Arctic. Though modernization is steadily encroaching even into the world's remotest regions, the Chukchi remain steadfast in preserving their identity. They stand as a powerful reminder that in a rapidly industrialized world, there exist ancient values and traditions worth protecting, treasures of humanity that resist the winds of change. The birch tree, the silken soul of Russia. If Japan has its cherry blossoms and France its lavender fields, then Russia has the birch tree, a symbol that is both natural and sacred, deeply woven into every layer of Russian culture and spiritual life. With its white bark and slender green leaves, the birch is not only ubiquitous across Russia's vast territory, but it is also intimately connected to the Russian soul. In Russian poetry and folklore, the birch is often likened to a Russian maiden, graceful, pure, gentle, yet resilient. It appears in folk songs, classical literature, paintings, and romantic films. It is both a symbol of beauty and of emotional resilience, soft in appearance, yet strong at its core. Beyond its symbolism, the birch also holds practical value. Its wood is used for furniture, its bark for medicine and survival tools. During spring folk festivals, birch trees are decorated or planted as symbols of rebirth, harvest blessings, and the renewal of life. The birch's constant presence in Russian life reflects a deeper philosophy: to live in harmony with nature, seeing it not merely as a resource, but as a companion, a confidant, and a keeper of dreams. The birch, in its simplicity and strength, mirrors the Russian ethos of soulful endurance and quiet beauty. Affordable living, Russia as a gateway for global youth. Compared to Western nations, the cost of living in Russia is remarkably manageable. especially for international students, young professionals, or those seeking to experience life in a cultural powerhouse without a hefty budget. Depending on the city and lifestyle, living in Russia can range from $580 to $1,050 per month, covering accommodation, food, transport, and other essentials. In major cities like Moscow or St. Petersburg, rent and transport may be slightly higher, but in return, residents enjoy world-class infrastructure, modern public transit, and rich career and academic opportunities. In second-tier cities such as Kazan, Yekaterinburg, or Novosibirsk, costs are lower, yet living standards remain comfortably high. Food is affordable and diverse, public transportation is efficient, and healthcare is subsidized by the state. Russia's top universities offer generous government scholarships, further making it attractive for budget-conscious students from around the globe. Russia today is more than a travel destination. It's an emerging strategic choice for global youth seeking to study in classical academic settings, engage with a unique cultural matrix, and retain financial independence while doing so. A female majority, demographics and the rise of global connection. Russia presents a unique demographic reality. Women outnumber men by nearly 10 million. This is more than a statistic. It is a phenomenon that has reshaped social dynamics, gender roles, and international relationship trends. Decades of historical upheaval, especially World War II, a persistent decline in male population, and a significant life expectancy gap between men and women, have created a society where women often serve as the backbone of families and communities. Russian women have grown more proactive, not just in education and careers, but also in how they approach relationships and personal freedom. Today, many Russian women, especially the younger, well-educated generation, are increasingly open to forming relationships with people from other countries. Through social media and international dating platforms, they are not merely seeking romance, but exploring new cultural experiences, expanding their horizons, and asserting their independence. This trend reflects a growing confidence and global-minded spirit among Russian women. No longer bound by traditional expectations, they are rewriting their narratives, with grace, strength, and a distinctly modern voice that resonates far beyond national borders. Moscow Metro, palaces beneath the streets. In many countries, subways are purely utilitarian. But in Russia, especially in Moscow, the metro system is not just transportation. It is an underground museum of monumental art and ideology. Built during the Soviet era, the Moscow Metro is renowned not only for its depth, punctuality, and ability to move millions daily, but also as a network of what are often called palaces for the people. Each station is a unique architectural marvel, rich with symbolism and crafted in distinct styles. Komsomolskaya Station dazzles with its Baroque ceilings and chandeliers. Mayakovskaya Station features futuristic mosaics from the 1930s. Ploshchad Revolyutsy is lined with bronze statues of idealized Soviet citizens, farmers, soldiers, students, all representing the Soviet vision of human perfection. These underground spaces were never just functional. During the Soviet era, they were propaganda in marble and light, meant to showcase the might of the state, the glory of socialist architecture, and the dream of a radiant communist future. Today, they remain cherished landmarks, part of the living heritage of Moscow that residents proudly show to visitors from around the world. Remarkably, despite the waves of political and social transformation, most stations have been preserved in their original form. The metro today is not only a link between destinations, it is a bridge between past and present, between hurried footsteps and quiet awe. In the rush of daily life, Moscow's metro gently reminds us that national pride and beauty can thrive even beneath the ground. Market psychology entwined with politics, a global echo through Russia. In the digital age of instant communication, the boundaries between economics, politics, and media have grown increasingly blurred. Russia, both a political superpower and a strategic energy hub, stands as a vivid illustration of this fragile global interconnection. Today, a single tweet from a political leader, whether Russian or Western, can ripple across oil prices, the ruble, or global stock markets. Traditional market cycles have given way to political sentiment and media narratives, where the butterfly effect may stem from a secretive policy meeting or a viral video on social media. In Russia, the economy has long been closely linked to the state. Major industries, especially in energy, finance, and defense, are either state-owned or heavily influenced by government authority. As a result, every policy decision, whether it involves tariffs, international sanctions, or monetary shifts, carries not just economic weight, but political intent. This produces a non-traditional form of market behavior. The marketplace is no longer a pure reflection of supply and demand, but rather a stage where news, policy, and public mood collide. What unfolds in Russia is not unique. It's a reflection of the world at large, where every country is beginning to understand. In a hyper-connected world, nothing is truly apolitical. To navigate today's markets, one must read the crowd's psychology, decode geopolitical dynamics, and feel the pulse of unfolding history. In this environment, every investor becomes a hybrid, part anthropologist, part journalist, part political analyst. Russia is a country that cannot be understood by reason alone. It must be felt with the heart. From the icy lands of Siberia to the warmth of a cup of tea, from magnificent metro stations to a smile that's not easily given, everything here carries a quiet yet powerful depth. Personally, I believe Russia is one of the most unique countries in the world, where harshness and beauty walk hand in hand, and the people are strong yet deeply emotional. What may seem strange is often just their way of living authentically, true to their identity. See you in the next video. What about you? Which of the 18 things about Russia surprised or moved you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.